Sorry. Can you hear me better now? Great. So I work for Cadoles. We created this company 5 years ago to do some stuff around free software. And we work mainly for the French Ministry of Education. Back in time, when we started this company, we worked with the French Ministry, and we have some issues with the virtual machines we can use. At this time, they used the lab manager from, well-known company, and it just don't do the trick for us. Maybe tomorrow Daniel will tell you the full story, so I keep it short. And so we start to think what we can do. Let's try some solutions, try the good pair of shoes, and finally we found, by pure coincidence, OpenNebula. And we fall in love with that solution. We fall in love with that solution because the first cluster we put in kind of production, take me 1 week of work. With only 1 week, I could have the research part, the try part, put in the hosts and deliver it to my colleagues. So this does the job for us. Then we start to talk about that. Okay, I don't really love cats, so I put other animals. And we start to talk about that in conferences, maybe more like these conferences. And when you are so few in a room, people start to talk with you, and some people says, "Oh, we are using VMware hypervisors in our college, in our schools, and we don't have any license because we don't have any money." The first years, it went good because we have a lot of features, and years pass and features reduce. So what can we do? So we start again about the thinking process. What can we do? And we said, okay, we develop a really easy to use distribution. The goal of this distribution, called EOLE, is you don't need to know anything about Apache, about Samba, about whatever, to get the server up and running. So we said, so let's do this with OpenNebula. What's the problem? And we tried to find some money. Cool. We found that kind of money. So in a total of, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 days of work, we managed to have a prototype, very nice to play. And this prototype was funded by an academy, this is an independent institution in French education, and it's regionalized. So this academy is from La Réunion, a French island. So they funded the first prototype, and they put it in production. And they are quite happy with that. So we said, okay, that's good, that's cool, but that's not really working, So we need to do more. So we try to make this more reliable, more functional. And for that, we made choices. The choices are KVM, obviously, because, Linux. Open vSwitch, because at this time, we really needed to have VLAN support, advanced VLAN support, because that was an obligation posed by the client. So okay, we choose Open vSwitch, and we work with QCO2 images because we always work with QCO2 images, and it's just fine. So we continue with that. We stick with that. And after that, more work. Hâpy was born because clients are happy, and Hâpy is also an Egyptian god, and all the modules of EOLE distribution have names from Egyptian gods, like Haman, like Horus, etc. So Hâpy is one too. And this module is just, you have an image, an ISO image. You put it in a CD or USB-K or whatever. You install your machine. You just start one. You just have to know one command, gen config. You fill up all the configuration in the same interface. Okay, you save that, and after that, you just launch the instance command to put the server up and running. And the idea is provide a solution of virtualization, easy to use for the schools people, reliable and flexible. So we can start with one node cluster. I don't know if you can call that a cluster if you have just one node, but that's what we call the single node version, Hâpy. And we have an extension, Hâpy node. You just can add another machine with Hâpy node on it and bring into the cluster. So I put you the informations. The main issue is, I'm going to throw up. The main issue is, if you don't speak French, we are sorry. Because you know we are French. No, that's a real issue. We are thinking about the technology we use is quite old, 12 or 13 years, and we don't have found the solution to translate our what we call dictionaries. You know, that's what describes the configuration basically. So I show you. This is my Hâpy. This is my configuration interface that we call gen config. So you know it's in French, and you just have to fill all that fields, just understandable. You have something to maybe no, the help don't show up. Yeah, you have help messages, you know, and here the OpenNebula part. It's the switch with Open vSwitch. This is a way to configure Open vSwitch. You can declare a network, attach a physical interface, and give VLAN IDs. And if you go to expert mode, you can change the VLAN mode to trunk, whatever. Then you have the virtualization part, when you can create IP range networks that we used to call level 3 networks. Just like in OpenNebula interface. And you can create Ethernet-based networks, just like in OpenNebula interface. The point of all that, okay, you can do that in the OpenNebula interface in Sunstone, great. So the point is, when you have 300 machines spread out in 300 different locations, not merged in one cluster, and you have to redeploy this machine, you have to make it quick, because the trip is long and the time on site is short. So all this is made in this configuration. You just have a file, a configuration file, a JSON file. You can bring the file with you, the ISO, install the machine, newly install a machine, puts the file on it, and just launch the instance to make the machine up and running again. That's why we use that to create networks in OpenNebula and not the Sunstone interface. We have some stuff about storage. You can activate multiple nodes. By default, Hâpy just has one node, and you can activate multiple nodes and join the node just by declaring the node here with his IP and his name. And last, after that, we provide a simple way to create hooks. So if some people are there yesterday, they understand what it is. And we provide also some examples. So it automatically downloads the ISO image of the version you set up for the EOLE distribution, and create templates and create an empty image of the size you set up here. And for the last minute, this is an actual Hâpy up and running in a virtual machine on my computer. And I just can show you. Okay, I'm on Hâpy. And you just need to know gen config to start the interface, the configuration interface. Instance to create the configuration and reconfigure to when you update the configuration, you just start reconfigure and it reconfigures all the system, stopping all the services, generating again all the configuration, and put your server up and running again. So you can play with that, crash all the configuration files if you want, just type reconfigure and it goes up and running again. And the last command this is the Open vSwitch and OpenNebula part, scripts for creating configuration. And the last command we use is diagnose to show where the status of the machine, network interfaces, communication with the internet, and the status of the services like libvirt, like Sunstone, like XML-RPC API, etc., etc. And we have a little monitor for the virtual machines. I don't have any virtual machine right now. So I think I'm done. I can breathe again. Do we have time for questions?
Yes, of course. Does anyone have any question?
I made myself clear, I think. Don't worry, no problem. Thank you very much for your attention.